USA 9 Weather Impact is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Hurricane Erin is set to stay well offshore of the U.S. East Coast, yet its impacts are churning up dangerous and deteriorating conditions. The storm is creating a high risk of rip currents, double-digit wave heights, and tropical storm force gusts up to 60 miles an hour.
That's right, and a message from the National Weather Service officials say is simple: stay out of the water. Michael Yoshida is live in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, with the latest on this massive storm.
Hey there, Caitlin and Simone. You can see here in Wrightsville Beach, the waves are crashing as concern remains high for the impacts of Hurricane Erin. Those big waves, dangerous rip currents have officials urging everyone to stay out of the water and prepare now for the impacts of the storm. All eyes are on Hurricane Erin as the storm tracks north and nearly parallels the U.S. East Coast.
It's going to be a sunny day here, and the threats are coming from afar.
North Carolina is under a state of emergency, and evacuations have been ordered in parts of the Outer Banks.
If you've been asked to evacuate, please do so now.
On Pea Island, scoopers built up sand dunes as storm surge and destructive waves of 20 feet or more are possible.
Take photos of whatever you own that is valuable in case it gets destroyed.
Rescuers saved more than a dozen people from rip currents at Wrightsville Beach on Tuesday, following about 60 rescues at the beach Monday, as officials urge people to stay out of the water. That includes both the ocean and flooded roadways along the coast during high tide.
Don't drown, turn around. We do not want you to become a casualty of Hurricane Erin.
Erin is an unusually large hurricane, making it more capable of delivering dangerous conditions. So big, in fact, that the accuracy of the National Hurricane Center's probability graphic, which depicts the likelihood of areas getting tropical storm force winds, is potentially underselling it.
For this particular storm, we're not expecting a lot of rain. We're expecting mostly wind.
As of Wednesday, Erin's winds were impacting more than 400 miles in the Atlantic Ocean. By Friday, it could be more than 650 miles wide. And back here live again, you can see Ocean Rescue standing by. Now, thankfully, they tell me, as compared to just a few days ago when we had 60 or so rescues, just a handful today. You can see a lot of people staying out of the water up on the beach. Of course, we do have still those handful of people, some surfers who are venturing in. Officials urging them to stay out, though, saying when you go in, you're not only risking your own life, but those of their rescue divers as well.
Yeah.
Simone, Caitlin.
Michael, to that point, we can see the waves behind you on the shoreline. Have there been many reported rescues from some of those dangerous rip currents?
Yeah, so again, it was just a few days ago. We had some 60 rescues happening on Monday. Today, we've heard maybe just a handful happening, but still the threat level high. Officials telling me that the unprecedented nature of these rip currents this time is not just the sheer amount of them, again, up and down this entire coastline, but also the strength of them, saying they're these massive rivers of water that are pulling people out, and they're also at times a block or 2 blocks wide. So when they do grab onto swimmers, it's not just 1 or 2, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 at a time that are needing to be rescued. Again, that's putting the lives of these lifeguards, these ocean rescue crews at risk as well. That's why officials are urging everyone, at least just for the next few days, heed the warnings and stay out of the water.
Yeah, Michael, and before you go to that point, have officials talked at all about the upcoming days? Because once the storm pulls away, it's going to be gorgeous there on Friday, but that surf is still going to be rough. Is the message just to continue to heed the warnings into the weekend?
You're exactly right. And when you talk about after the storm it being nice again, that's really what they've dealt with before the storm as well. The director of Ocean Rescue telling me it's really been sort of a perfect storm with them. People hearing about Erin being way off the coast, not making landfall, so they show up here to the beach. They see the sun, it's hot out, so they want to go in, and they say that's what led to so many rescues early in the week. Thankfully, it seems people are starting to listen to the warnings, but for sure, once this storm again moves through the Atlantic, passes by, they're saying please pay attention to the local officials and don't head back into the water until you're given the all clear.
Boy, some really great information, some great reporting for us tonight. Michael Yoshida, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, he said something I felt like I was in your brain hearing you go, oh my goodness, what the rip currents, the size of them, when you just don't think of that. And you've been warning us about these rip currents and how deadly they can be.
And we heard from folks at noon who were saying, oh, I'm just going to go in up to my knees. That can still be dangerous. Rip currents are powerful. They can knock you off your feet and take you out far into the depths of the water. So continue to heed the warnings, because we know it's one of the last weekends of summer,
just gonna
right?
say that.
Folks do want to get to the beach, but it's going to be rough all the way through this weekend.
All right, so maybe just avoid the water if you can. Just soak up the sunshine.
Exactly.
Go do that. Yeah.
Exactly. Still nice to relax on the beach.
Yeah.
Just maybe not
Get your
in the
book.
water.
There you
and
go.
certainly not at an unguarded beach. Now, we